goblet squat now. Because of a weight out in front of me, it lets me stay a little bit more upright. Because the weight's in front of me, it lets me shift my weight back a little bit more to kind of counterbalance that and stay nice and balanced at my feet. With a goblet, now I'm starting to add in some of the other main points of performance here is, I want to just shoulders away from my ears. I'm going to get a light reach of my inner elbow and my pinky forward, and that just gets my upper back a little bit tight. I feel my abs turn on a little bit, so it gets me in a nice stacked position. And from there, it's exactly the same idea. Find those foot contacts, maintain them really well throughout. You're just going to drop straight down, straight back up. Again, I'm just letting my knees drift forward wherever they want to go. Staying nice and balanced through my feet. Let everything else do what it wants. Next, front squat. So the idea of a front squat is what I don't want is I don't want you to just think drive my elbows up as far as I can, which is the common cue for people. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to reach my elbows forward a little bit. You can see that still gets my elbows up, but it also creates this nice little shelf right here for the bar to rest on. Because again, the bar should be on my shoulders. It shouldn't be resting on just my wrists. So the bar needs to get onto my shoulders, and I'm going to do that by just find my foot contacts, nice little reach forward of my elbow and pinky, and I'll make it a nice shelf to rest on. And then again, because the weight's in front of me, less in front of me than a goblet squat, I'm still going to be able to stay really upright. But because the bar's a little bit closer to my center of mass, I might have to get a little bit more initiation, like sit into my heels a little bit more to kind of make sure I stay nice and balanced through my feet as I go down. And then from there, same thing, just focus on like gravity, push you down, push through the ground for your whole foot to come back up. So I'll show you what that looks like here. Again, find those foot contacts, soft knees, so you can make sure you feel your whole foot nice and heavy. I'm going to get my elbows and pinkies reaching forward a little bit against this bar, a nice spot to rest on, and my hands are doing nothing. Both all resting on my shoulder there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I can maintain those foot contacts and just drop straight down, straight back up. The bar will be nice and balanced over top the middle of my foot. Again, knees are just going forward on their own. I'm not driving them forward as hard as possible or anything. I'm not pushing them out. I'm just focused on maintaining nice balance in my feet as I sit down. Move as slow as you need to maintain that balance in your feet. The depth of your squat, something I should have mentioned earlier, will be determined by how well you can maintain these points of performance. So as soon as you start to lose the balance in your feet, you start to lose your spine position, or hips start to shift back, that means that's the end of that motion for you. A lot of times that means you need to change your setup a little bit, or it's just not a great exercise for you, and you just need to change the type of the exercise selection. So people that struggle with the back squat where they can't sit down, they tend to want to just do this with the back squat. Maybe the back squat's not a great exercise for you right now. And we probably are better off picking other options if our goal is to improve our squat. So, back squat, same exact ideas, but now the weight being behind me and on my shoulders behind me means that I'm going to have to counterbalance that to get balanced on my feet by leaning forward more, okay? What I don't want is, again, a common issue with people is they start to like do this kind of thing because they have that sensation of their chest coming forward, so they want to fight that. Don't fight that. It's a reason that's happening, because it's going to help balance you out. Again, as long as you're in this position and as long as you're moving more or less up and down, it's still a squat. If the lower the bar is on your shoulders, if we're getting towards a low bar squat, that means I'm going to lean forward even more to keep the bar centered over top of my feet, okay? So don't worry about torso angle. The goal is, again, as long as you're in a nice stacked position, you feel some abs on, you're nailing it. There's a good bar on the top of my upper traps here. Again, find this balance point in my feet, soft knees, so I can feel all my foot contacts. Now I'm just going to make sure I can keep those all really heavy. So now I'm going to lean forward a little bit more. That gets me nice and balanced over my feet. And my goal is just to maintain those balance points and just drop down. Push through the floor to come back up. Again, because the weight's behind me now, I am going to be leaning forward. But all of the other points are exactly the same. It doesn't change it whatsoever. Same rules. Knees are going forward naturally. I'm not driving forward as hard as I can. I'm just relaxing my hips and knees to make sure my feet get real heavy on the ground. Let gravity do its thing. Push against gravity to come back up. Again, match the weight for the amount of tension you create. Don't create tension just to create tension. That is how you do a squat. As a review, find your foot contacts, keep them. Adjust your hips and knees and body weight as a way to kind of make sure you maintain your foot contacts. Sit down and sit up. We're not driving our knees out. We're not driving our knees forward as hard as I can. Your knees will just go forward naturally when I sit down. Let gravity just take you down there and focus on maintaining that balance in your feet. Your pelvis will just drop towards your heels. Your knees will kind of push forward, and then you just push into the ground to come back up. You'll feel glutes, you'll feel quads, you'll feel adductors a little bit, you'll feel abs. It means you're doing it. Third thing is just maintain an overall neutral spine. If you get the first 2 points, the last one will just kind of happen. You won't have to think about it too much. But an easy way is to think, long breath out, a little bit of ab tension, and you should be good. Again, really reflexively kind of brace, so don't overthink it. But those are the points of performance for a squat. Those are a bunch of different variations that you'll commonly see. The exercise, how you're doing the exercise does not change. The setup changes slightly based on where the weight is, how heavy it is, and your personal proportions, mobility deficits. Let me know if you have any questions on that. Hit it up.